We're outside in sunny Carnarvon.
It's not so sunny.
It's not so sunny and there's birds everywhere, but I mean, it's light enough, so we decided to come outside. This is episode 2 of a 4-part series, Bike Curious, on the Tour de France podcast. I'm Iwan Pitts and this is
Jack Payton.
Jack. Has it been a Tour de France?
Pardon?
Has it been a Tour de France?
There has been a Tour de France.
I was doing a play on Tour de Force, but
Tour de Force.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I think that's well, I don't know actually. I thought it was a pun on Tour de France.
Oh, it might be.
So you might have
Tour de
gone
Force.
back with the pun.
I've gone full circle.
Yeah.
It's been a week, and what a week. I mean, what's happened?
You literally don't know. So I thought I'd do a little recap, although to tell you what's happened this week is a real stretch, because from start to finish it's been pretty exciting. So Monday, last podcast was on Sunday, so Monday, Sagan won on an uphill finish.
Now, you told me that he was a rock star of cycling. That he's one to look out for. That he's the controversial one, the one with the swagger.
I said he was the Ibrahimovic of cycling, didn't I? And he probably is. I mean, he's very confident. There's a few videos of some interesting interviews, as well as
he's a controversial guy. He's not.
He's well liked.
He's not a very controversial guy.
He's not hated. He's just a bad boy, and he proved that this week.
Bad boy of cycling.
Yeah. So he won the foot stage on Monday, and then came Tuesday. So I'm going to gloss straight over the win on Monday, which was very impressive. He was absolutely fantastic, unbelievable. And then came Tuesday. Everything was going swimmingly. It was the final lead-out sprint, and then this happened.
I've seen this because I have been watching.
So normal lead out, and then Mark Cavendish,
bang, into the side.
So
takes down a few other people with him. Have they got names?
One of them was John Degenkolb, I can't remember the other. So Demar won that stage, who's been absolutely fantastic. Another guy that's no longer in the Tour de France.
Now we're watching it again in slow motion, and it does look like, what's his name?
Sagan.
Yeah,
and then the guy...
he got a bike over his face.
Yeah, so there's a few different angles here, and lots of people have said that it was definitely an elbow from Peter Sagan, and other people.
You did a poll.
I did do a poll, and the results were just as interesting as you would expect. Hundreds of you actually, surprisingly, got onto this poll, and the results were
we might have to cut this bit out of the podcast.
Yeah.
As Jack scrolls through Bike Curious Twitter feed, you can follow us on Twitter at Bike Curious Pod. Shall we go for a commercial break?
There we go. So I asked basically, what do you think of the decision? Should Peter Sagan have been disqualified?
124 votes.
124 votes. 78% of you said it was wrong, and 22% of you said it was fair. So, and I do agree with that. At first, I thought you should have definitely been kicked out because it did look like an elbow. Then I saw that slow motion replay, and Mark Cavendish was going into a lane that was closing, and Sagan was trying to get round Demar, and he was off balance, but Cavendish was already going down. I don't think he knew that he was there. I really don't. Mark Cavendish went into a lane he shouldn't have gone into, and Sagan accidentally hit it. So it was a racing incident.
So the bad boy of cycling, not so bad this time.
I don't think so, but you think that the elbow's quite clear.
He elbowed him.
Yeah, I don't know if he's elbowing him on the way down though.
But he's cycling. He's got his your elbows are out when you're cycling anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he clearly made a move. There was a little move there, I think.
Yeah. No, I think he could have gone either way.
If this was football, I'd be saying that. Yeah, I think Mark Cavendish. I think if this was football, Mark Cavendish did a little dive then.
Yeah. So that was Tuesday, and then.
But how does it help Cavendish to dive?
It didn't.
To get Sagan disqualified.
Well, no, that's not. He didn't want Sagan disqualified. He broke his shoulder blade in that
during
crash.
that crash.
Yeah, he broke his shoulder blade.
So he was out after that.
Mark Cavendish was out. So Friday, Kittel won.
Back on form. What is that?
So that's a picture of the finish line, and
which one's Kittel?
So Kittel's the one, the little Kittel.
Oh, little
Blue.
Kittel, yeah. He won last week. He won a stage as well, yeah.
So who, in your opinion, won that?
It's a draw.
It's the definition of a draw.
Can't you just have a draw in the Tour de France?
Apparently not. Apparently there's 6 millimeters difference there. I can't see 6 millimeters difference.
If two people cross at the same time, it's a draw. It's like the Lions.
I completely agree.
Both of them should just lift up the cup or whatever they win at the end of a stage.
yeah, that was. But in this case, it was so close. It was something ridiculous, like 0.0004 of a second they were split by, and no way a camera can take a picture of that difference.
What does that mean?
So it means that Marcel Kittel won, beat Edvard Boasson by the width of a Higgs boson particle, and
but what does it mean as far as, because what I've learnt watching the Tour de France over the past week is there are points.
Yeah.
Now you didn't tell me about points.
I've tried to tell you about the green jersey.
How is that points?
So the green jersey goes to the person with the most points, and you get points for finishing first in a stage, or finishing in the top 10 in a stage. Or
right.
15.
So I thought it was just the first person to win the thing.
Points being prizes, sort of thing.
Well, no, I didn't understand there was points, and I thought it was just time, and that's how long you took to ride from Germany to France.
But that is the yellow jersey competition somehow.
But now everything's changed because they're in France, so it's not the first of France, is it? Where do they end up?
Paris.
Okay.
Via all 5 different mountain ranges in France.
They should say that somewhere, shouldn't they?
They do if you read hard enough.
So, Tour de France is a race from Germany, Dusseldorf, yeah?
Dusseldorf it started, to Paris via almost Spain.
Yeah, so all the mountains.
Yeah, it's not a linear route.
But it's not always Dusseldorf.
Sometimes
it's Yorkshire.
It'll start where yeah, it's Dusseldorf or Yorkshire.
But sometimes they'll just start in France, yeah? Every other year.
Yeah, so so 1 year they'll go away from France and start it somewhere outside of France, and then the next year they'll start
Jack
it
hitting the table
in France.
He's hitting that's why it's banging.
Oh, sorry about that.
Sound. So it's a race to Paris.
Yeah, the Champs-Elysees is where the final.
But it's not a race because there's points, there's times, there's jerseys, there's polka dots. There's a cuddly lion toy. What is going on? It's just mental.
And yeah, this is the problem with cycling and probably finding new fans but it's also the best thing about cycling is that while a stage is going on, there is not just one race. There are several different races and motivations to do different things at different times. So it's so unpredictable that it's absolutely enthralling to watch.
So how do you win? You win by being the guy in the yellow top.
You don't win the Tour de France. Well, you do win the Tour de France. The yellow jersey is if you say you won the Tour de France, they say you won the yellow jersey.
So Geraint Thomas has won the Tour de France.
No.
Because he didn't finish. Because of what happened to Geraint Thomas?
So this is a video of what happened to Geraint. No, we don't have a video actually. That was off camera. So Geraint Thomas was on the hill down the Col de la Biche.
They didn't bother filming it?
Well, the race was so spread out at the time.
So they just follow the lead and maybe have a camera.
They follow whatever they can. But in the end, if you're on a narrow lane and you're in a motorbike, you can't overtake in certain places, so people get stuck behind. There's some things you miss. So that's why there's race radios and there's commentators trying to tell you what's going on. They're tripping over themselves a bit like we do. And but yeah, this
I don't like that insinuation that we are not utmost professionals. So he broke his collarbone, and we know this because of Instagram and Twitter.
We saw him on the floor.
Oh, okay.
But there's no point in showing that because it's literally just someone sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
I did a tweet actually straight after it happened, and it said, "Looks like he's broken his collarbone by how he's holding his arm. Hope I'm not right." I was right.
I think you seem pretty pleased that you were right then.
I
hope I'm not right, but if I'm right, I'm a genius.
I didn't. Maybe. But yeah, no, it's quite common to see people with broken collarbones in the Tour de France. And he was holding his arm.
Somebody broke their back.
Again.
What do you mean again?
Someone broke their lumbar, lower back on the first stage. Which we talked about last week. And then Robert Gessink, who got second on Saturday, crashed on the way down the same col, and he fell over and broke his back.
If you break your back cycling, can you come back from that? Will you cycle again?
Yeah, well, it depends how severe the back, but he seemed alright. He actually was in hospital and was watching the end of the stage by the time, so he watched the end of the stage in hospital, and he did another tweet about that, but yeah, so
has the Tour de France changed recently with like social media?
I think so. You get a little bit closer to the personalities of the riders. So
like the rock star that is Peter Sagan.
Peter Sagan does stuff during the races that are pretty crazy.
Like elbowing people off their bikes, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, once he did a wheelie onto his team car. So he goes in front of the team car, he does a wheelie,
yeah,
and he rides onto the team car on his bike and then parks it on the roof rack.
Is that cheating?
It was during a training ride.
Oh, okay.
But his bike control. He wins stages he shouldn't win. He wins stages he should win. He's just a rider unlike any other rider, basically.
And he's Dutch.
He's Slovakian.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Right. So
So we have a picture that Geraint Thomas sent of his jersey, and he says, "Jersey for sale, only worn once, not in 100% condition, slight signs of use." So
it goes on. Are you going to read the rest of it?
No, I think that's enough of that.
So he's being sarcastic there, yeah, because he's just broken his collarbone.
Yeah, pretty badly actually.
And his thing is all scuffed up.
Yeah, actually, Ben Swift told us. He's another rider in the Tour de France. We got a tweet from him, and he says, a quote from Geraint Thomas: "I got back on my bike, carried down under the descent, but when I got to the flat, I knew something was wrong. So he broke his collarbone, got back on his bike, cycled down the hill, and then realised something was up." So
and it's a pretty nasty break as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like you see on the X-rays.
Can you recover from that?
People have stayed in the Tour with broken collarbones.
What, and finished the whole thing?
Yeah. I think I talked about it last week. Tyler Hamilton did it, and he was in so much pain that he ground his molars and his teeth down to the roots.
That's not.
And
normal,
he had to get his teeth replaced.
Yeah, that's not right.
Oh no! But Geraint Thomas carrying on, trying to finish the stage. It's just a typical thing that happens in the Tour.
So.
It's
you
unbelievable.
can break your back, you can break your collarbone.
I don't think you can break your back.
Geraint
Thomas broke his hip and finished the Tour once. He broke it pretty early on as well.
Yeah.
I think it was the third or fifth stage.
So you can break your hip, you can break your collarbone, you can break your back, but are those like three common, are they unusual cycling injuries?
You get all sorts.
Yeah?
You really do, yeah.
I imagine
you're naked essentially on a bike because the lycra is paper thin, and Geraint crashed at 60 kilometers an hour. Sometimes you go in 100 kilometers an hour, and you crash. Tarmac is not soft, and it's like a cheese grater. It shreds your skin. It absolutely, yeah. You can get really hurt in the Tour de France.
I think we should have a break. But not our collarbones. Hey, do you like that?
Pardon?
Did you?
Oh, break! Oh, no.
So we'll be back after these messages. What are we actually going to put as messages?
Don't know. We could just loving messages to each other.
What have you been watching it on a channel? Have you watched it on S4C?
I haven't been. I like the commentary on ITV4.
Okay, so ITV4. If you want this program on your channel,
they're covering every stage from start to finish at the moment. Which is the
we
first
could do
year
this
that's
daily.
happened, I think.
We could do this daily.
We could. I think
next
it'd
year.
actually be easier if we did it daily because it's so hard to recap the week.
And also, like, you know, we've got these tweets going on. We're looking at tweets and stuff.
Yeah.
So if next year, ITV4 pay for us, we'll go to France.
So since the first half of the programme went so badly...
Are we back out of the... Okay, so that
I
was
think
the
we
ad
should be.
break. I'm Ewan Pitts again. This is Jack Payton, my dear friend and cyclist.
Yeah, so since the first half of the podcast went so badly, I think we should just skip to Saturday and Sunday.
What happened Friday?
Oh,
we
that was
covered
Kittle.
That was.
So we're not skipping anything.
Okay, so Saturday.
So Saturday was... I watched Saturday from start to finish, which is the first one I had, the first stage I had a chance to
Now,
do. So.
how do you watch people racing for 6 hours?
Saturday was worth it.
What happens?
So, kilometre zero, it was attack for 187 kilometres. It was absolutely all out, and everyone was attacking. Team
By
Sky
attacking,
were on,
you mean like going for it?
yeah, there was 50 riders ahead of the peloton,
By attacking, you mean cycling?
faster than the main group of riders. So
How many were in the peloton?
So the peloton is
The main group.
Yeah, the main group, like we learnt last week, about 140. But even some of them were being dropped because the race was going so fast that people were being dropped behind the peloton, and there was 50 riders ahead of the peloton. So, I mean, the 50 riders ahead of the peloton were almost as big as the peloton, with the yellow jersey, and it was absolutely manic. It was attack from start to finish, and somehow Sky managed to claw it back, and then Calmejean, the Frenchman, won a stage for the French, and it was Robert Gessing got second, and it was absolutely intense.
Did anyone crash?
No, everyone was all right on that stage.
But
No big crashes anyway.
But they just bombed through, yeah. They
Yeah.
powered through.
Oh, it was and it. I actually tried betting on that stage, which is really difficult to do in cycling.
If we're on ITV4, we won't condone betting unless you pay us to.
Please do. So
What site did you use? Did you get good odds?
I got really good odds.
Can you do a betting tip for us for tomorrow? Or
See,
for the
I
next
bet
day, or?
it's very difficult to do that because you have to know who's going to attack during the stage. So you have to watch it live to be able to bet on cycling. And I mean, 2 years ago, I bet throughout the Tour, and I started with £1 and I turned it into £183.
Was that watching everything?
Watching everything, betting
during,
during little bets, and it added up. But I bet on Gessing to win Saturday's stage really early on. I got 66 to 1 odds.
Yeah, there's a dog right next door as well. He's going crazy at the moment.
That's fine.
I don't think he's a bike fan.
Or maybe he's barking at a bike. But I put £1 on that, and I was hoping for £66, and he got second on the stage, and I was so gutted. I decided not to bet on Sunday, but Sunday
is betting a big thing with the Tour de France?
I don't think so.
It's not like Grand National or something similar.
No, I don't think that betting is a big thing, but I found that I was quite good at it, and I only put £1 on.
Fair enough.
I can afford to spend £1 sometimes.
If you want to sponsor us, your name could be at the bottom of the screen now.
And we'll turn your £1 into £100.
Yeah, and 1 million customers.
Yeah.
No, fair play. I mean, we've had a few listeners. We're up to a couple, 800, I think, people have listened to the podcast.
Why? No, that's really nice. Thank you very much for listening.
If you want to contact us, you can do at the Twitter handle that I've mentioned several times, or in the comments here. Or you can just come to my house and bark at me like
The dog next door.
Next door is doing.
So then there was yesterday's stage, which was Sunday. That's the one that Geraint Thomas crashed out on. Robert Gessing broke his back. all action. 12 people were eliminated in the end, including Richie Porte. And Richie Porte was a crash that we caught, and here it is.
Right, so they're cycling this.
So Richie Porte's just on the inside there.
Oh,
he crashes, goes across the road, and whacks into the stone on the side of the road. So he broke his hip and his collarbone. And
he smashed into another guy as well.
Dan Martin lost time because of that, and he was doing really well, Dan Martin.
He's not looking good shape then.
No, he ended up in...
he's out, yeah?
Yeah, he's completely out.
How many other people went out on Sunday?
So 12, yeah. So not all through crashes. Demar, the guy that won earlier in the weekend, was really high up in the green jersey. I think he was ill. I still don't know how he was ill. Normally it's bronchitis and that sort of thing.
So why do cyclists get bronchitis then?
I have no idea.
Are you a doctor?
But lots of people do.
Is it just because of you're breathing so much, you're using your lungs so much?
Probably. It must be a consequence. Lots of people get hay fever and that sort of thing. And when you're putting 100% in and they're so thin.
It's a strain on your body, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
like a massive strain.
They build up to the Tour de France to be as thin as they can for the Tour de France, and when you're thin,
because the lighter you are, the faster you are.
The less you have to carry around.
Yeah.
So if
it's
you
the same
time
reason
that wrong,
why they're like Ned Flanders style in their lycra, yeah. Because it feels like they're
aerodynamics and lightness, yeah. But yeah, if you're thin, your body's depleted, and you're doing this to your body, your body's weak and it's susceptible to infections and that sort of thing. And unfortunately, Demar was struggling on Saturday, and he just couldn't get across the line. And he actually went 4 of the FDJ riders were eliminated, so their team's down to I think 5 riders, unless I've missed anyone that's crashed.
So how many's 9 normally to a team?
9 to a team, yeah. So
they're down to 5.
They're down to 5.
Team Sky, how are they doing?
Geraint Thomas is out.
So it's just him, yeah.
So yeah,
the Super Domestique.
Super Domestique. He was second in the yellow jersey when he went out. So
that's really harsh, isn't it?
Yeah. He said he was gutted, but he just wanted to go to the pub. And now he can, so classic bit of Geraint Thomas humour there. But, and then I thought we'd finish off with away from the Tour de France. This is a guy called Mark Beaumont. Mark Beaumont held the record for cycling around the world in the fastest time.
Okay, is he is this a thing? Are we doing like a cyclist of the week type thing?
Yeah, I think you could call him a featured cyclist.
Okay, so this week's featured cyclist.
He deserves a mention. So Mark Beaumont has just started a journey around the world in 80 days.
Okay.
So that's 18,000 miles in 80 days, averaging 400 to 500 kilometres a day.
Now, how much do they do in the Tour de France?
200. So he's doing on his own, like, with no slipstream.
At least double, maybe triple the amount that they do in the Tour de France every day.
Yeah, on his own.
For like 4 times as many
days. So he's cycling for 18 hours a day.
That's insane.
It's absolutely insane, and that's why I think he deserves special mention. I mean,
because the classic Phileas Fogg around the world, 80 days, he did that like in a hot air balloon.
Yeah, he's doing this with bike
flying.
Power. Yeah. It's just unbelievable.
Because the terrain and stuff must be crazy as well.
And the weather, it's just, like the weather. I mean, he does have. Last time he did it, I can't remember how many days he did it, and it was over 100. He did it alone with no support. This time he's got people cooking for him, and he's got people massaging him. I suppose it's easier
if you're doing it on your own as well, because then you can get a cheeky plane or a ferry here or there.
He is actually getting planes and ferries. So the trick is he has to go through 2 antipodes and cycle 18,000 miles, which I think is the circumference of the world. So that's how they get about that. So there's a map here just of where he's going.
Okay.
So he starts in...
that's mental. That's like all the US.
Starts in Paris.
Classic.
Across Asia. I think he's just... He was in Moscow yesterday.
Is he going to be overtaking, going the other way to the Tour de France?
He's already gone past that point. He's already in Moscow. and he's on time.
I thought he started yesterday.
No, he started. No. He started earlier in the month. I think the 2nd of July he started.
Okay, fine.
So I mean, it'll be about halfway by the time we finish doing these podcasts. So yeah, the whole way across Asia, then across Australia, up New Zealand, and then across Alaska the whole way to what I assume is Newfoundland.
I mean, Australia's massive as well.
Asia's
huge.
unbelievable.
Everything's. I'm looking at this. The world is big, you know.
He did have a book about his last journey, and it was terrible.
Was he?
Because he did it so fast, he couldn't look.
Yeah.
He couldn't enjoy it. So it's literally just a list of how far he cycled, where he camped, and what he ate. And it reads like a list. If you want to read a good book, there's...
Around the World in 80 Days?
No, this one's a different one. Thunder and Sunshine by Alistair Humphreys. Absolutely fantastic book. He does not... So he's a student, basically, in this book, and he decides he wants to go for a bike ride. His plan is to go across Asia, I think. I can't remember, I haven't read it in a while. And he ends up doing this completely ridiculous route because of the Iraq War. So the Iraq War happens, so his route goes through Iraq. He decides to go the whole way down through Africa. The first book is his trip down to South Africa. The second book is America's trip. And the third one is his way home. And it's such a good read. It's well worth reading. So
now, you've travelled the world.
A little bit, yeah.
Did you cycle most of the way?
No. I planned to cycle across New Zealand, but it's just so expensive to fly a bike over. So I've cycled most of the way across Britain, but and around Italy and France, and those sorts of places. The Dolomites is a really great place to cycle.
Now, would you say that you're super fit, like the Tour de France guys, or
Not anymore, no. No. Oh, never. No. Sorry, I didn't hear the end of that sentence.
Not anymore.
I didn't hear the end of that sentence.
I used to be way fitter. So, how many miles were you doing a day? I probably asked you that last week. I could probably check.
I was aiming for 100 kilometres. That was my target. I got a repetitive strain injury in my knee when I was cycle touring, cycle touring is when you carry everything with you and you cycle with it. So that was a bit painful. But when I was cycling in the Dolomites, I was only I was doing 150k and
a day.
Yeah, and lots of climbs.
So how many hours is that?
I was 6 hours, yeah.
What's that?
But I only did it. I could only do it like every other day. I did maybe 4 days that hard.
That's a better way to do it, isn't it? You hammer it for a day, and then you take in like the location, you take in the culture of the place where you stop.
Well, cycling's a fantastic way to see the countries.
You just hammer it again, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like, if you're cycle touring, you're not going fast. If you go out on a bike ride, you just see things that you'd never see walking because you wouldn't cover the distance, or in a car because you're going too fast. It's the perfect speed to travel at to see a country. If you go anywhere, you should take a bike.
Okay. Good advice. We've got a final segment.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a couple more predictions since they went so well.
So Peloton. Shall we look at the previous ones as well, or is that too much of a nightmare? So last time we asked who will be in yellow by the rest day next Monday, and who is in the yellow?
Chris Froome.
Did anyone vote for Chris Froome?
A couple of people did, but mainly people thought Geraint Thomas was going to be.
Yeah.
And I think that is because most of our followers are Welsh.
Yeah, the fact that we're Welsh might have something to do with it.
Yeah. So he's not in yellow. You were wrong.
Will Team Skyriders have bodily fluids thrown at them?
The consensus was yes, but...
And did it happen?
No, I don't think so.
Was it expected to happen? Like, in your opinion?
I think I said yes, yeah, I did. So I was wrong. Shame on me.
Okay.
Will one of the favourites abandoned by the rest day? Yes.
And who was the favourite, Geraint Thomas?
And Richie Port, and you could say the green jersey, Mark Cavendish, and Damar, who was high, and Sagan.
Yeah.
Like, it was ridiculous. It was an absolute culling of favourites this week. And then Will Cavendish abandoned before the rest day. People said no. Unfortunately, due to no fault of his own, like we saw earlier, he did.
Okay. So,
2 simple questions this week.
Just two.
Who will win?
But you might come up with something new during the week. If you follow us on Twitter or whatever, there might be a poll.
Yeah, I might add on a few during the week. But the two starters off are who's going to be in the yellow jersey in France, who will win the yellow jersey, and who will win the green jersey. Really simple.
So who will win the yellow jersey? Who will win the green jersey?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. I thought we'd go nice and simple this week to avoid confusion next week.
But isn't it hard to come up with choices for a poll?
There's 4 options, so I'll go with the top 4.
Okay,
and with the green jersey, I think I'm safe to go with the top 4 as well. So the yellow jersey, it's hard to see Froome being beaten with so many of his rivals being.
Now Froome he's the leader of Team Sky, yeah. So, like when Geraint Thomas was wearing the yellow jersey, his job really was to help Froome win, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But he managed to win anyway. So.
Oh, he didn't win the stage.
No, but he got the.
Yeah, he got the yellow jersey.
Shirt.
Yeah, he finished with everyone, like all the main rivals except for Dan Martin and Sam Yates. You could say finished with him. Dan Martin because of a crash. Sam Yates just because he got dropped. And Quintana got dropped and Contador got dropped. There was lots of riders showed that they weren't up for it this week, basically. But Fabio Aru looks really strong, the Italian. Dan Martin still looks strong, even though he crashed. He looked so strong. He was the end of the hill yesterday. He was struggling, but he'll gain a few seconds here or there. He's a really good puncher. He'll outsprint anyone, and with the. If you win the stage, you get a 10-second time bonus now.
People are leaving and stuff runners, shouting and talking. Sorry.
So yeah, but I can't see anyone beating Froome.
Okay.
So, but Aru and Dan Martin are looking really strong.
Okay.
And
so
then,
what have I got to keep an eye on then? With what's to look out for? What's coming up?
So we've got 2 sprint stages coming up, which will be a challenge between Kittel, Greipel. And Michael Matthews. Michael Matthews I think he might win the 3rd stage of this week, but I don't think he'll win the 2 sprint stages. But Michael Matthews, what he's doing is there are intermediate sprints. So in the middle of a stage there is a sprint. And what he's doing is he's winning those. So he's getting 20 points and he's just picking them up consistently. And that is exactly what Sagan used to do. But Sagan's not there to do that now. So Michael Matthews is in with a shout of winning the green jersey without winning a stage. So I think Kittel, Matthews are the 2 main options on the green jersey, really. And I think Christoph maybe, but Kittel, Matthews, 2 totally different techniques. Kittel is going to win stages. Matthews is not going to win a stage probably, and he'll just do it through pure effort. And so I think it's between those 2, but I will put up another 2 options just in case anyone wants to throw out a random name.
Sure, I'm sure like people who are into cycling enjoyed what you just said. It kind of went over my head though.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
It was just names.
Yeah, it's difficult. So yeah. I was talking earlier about how interesting the Tour de France is, because so much is going on.
What's the deal with points? Can we sort that out?
Yeah. Okay. So points you get for intermediate sprints. So if you win an intermediate sprint.
What's an intermediate sprint?
It's the sprint in the middle of a stage.
Okay, fine.
And at the end, there's a sprint at the end of some stage.
How many sprints are in a stage?
So there's 1 intermediate sprint, and then you get points. So it's first over the line.
Okay, so there's lines. So you get over the line, the first over, how many points do you get? 3 points?
So intermediate you get 20, and stage wins you get 50. So the final finish line, you get 50 points for winning the stage.
Yeah.
You get 20 for winning the intermediate sprints, and then it goes progressively downwards. So like the winner will get 50, the guy in second will get, I think it's 40 or something like that, and it'll go down to the first 15.
So there was 10.
The guy in 15th will get 1 point.
So when Lidl beat the other guy and they were like,
yeah,
there was 10 points in that.
Yeah, there was, but the stage win is really important as well. Like, people really they don't just want the green jersey, they want to win a stage, because that, like I said last week,
makes you a legend.
It makes you a legend. Edvald Bosenhagen was the guy that just missed out. He has won a stage before, but no one expected him to win that. He was in the same team as Mark Cavendish, and he actually almost outsprinted Kittel, even though he wasn't the lead sprinter, which was pretty impressive. So actually, I'd say Bosenhagen might be going for the green jersey, so he could be a third option.
Okay, so at the end of the Tour de France, you've got 1 million points or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Highest points gets the green jersey.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Green jersey.
Green jersey. Yellow jersey.
But the yellow jersey's the winner, yeah?
Yeah, but a green jersey, you win a separate competition. There's a green jersey competition and the yellow jersey competition. And the
so it's like a different game.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about cycling, is that there's so many different motivations for riders.
So the guy, for example, the guy who ends in the green jersey, he's going to be just as happy as the guy in the yellow jersey, because that's probably his target. Yeah.
That's his target. You don't accidentally win the green jersey, and you don't accidentally win the yellow jersey.
Fine. So in a way, like, the yellow jersey's like the golden boot, the green jersey's like golden gloves or whatever.
Yeah, they're separate competitions for different positions.
So
we talked about different sorts of riders last week.
Yeah.
So sprinters are going for green.
What does the domestic aim for?
To help their riders do the best they can.
But what does a team win?
Prize money, sponsorship money, because their sponsors won the Tour de France.
Fine. And how do you work out which team did best?
So there is a team competition that goes on as well, which is the best added time.
Right.
Of all the riders in their team.
Fine.
It might be the first 5 riders of the team.
Sure, because like, you're going to lose. So
Sky were winning that because, yeah. I mean, Froome, Geraint Thomas were high in the rankings. I don't know if they're winning that at the moment. So, yeah. So there's plenty of stuff that goes on. And then there's the polka dot, which you get points for getting to the top of hills first.
Right, so the line is on the hill.
The top of the hill.
For the polka dot.
Yeah.
Right. So, who... Okay, fine. It's fine.
Who's in it?
No, there's no point. There's no point asking the question I was going to ask.
That's fine.
Because it was a stupid question. Thank you very much, Jack Payton, and we'll see you...
next Sunday. No, or Saturday. Monday.
Monday.
I don't know. Whatever.
Whenever we record the next one. Probably next weekend, yeah? So, thank you very much, and au revoir, I suppose. Yeah?
Yeah. See you later.
Bike Curious!